It's Friday and it's blog post time. We're going to go over the events and the relevant information inside the blog post. We're also going to continue reading community comments about the future of character releases. It is not good. We've got Gore right here behind us, and Gore looks like is going to be the month-long character. There's Gore shards all throughout the calendar here, so it's going to be one of the ways that's going to help to get more Gore shards. Also, I thought this was pretty good, and this will probably be the last positive note in this video. Once we get past this, raid rewards update. Upgrade more of your roster to gear tier 19 with the updated raid rewards. We've increased quantities of Armory 19 orb fragments and Crimson Gear raid orb fragments earned from raid completion rewards for raid on Orcus Omega. A new reward tier for these orbs has also been added at 100% raid completion. These updates are already live in game, so enjoy them today while you battle in the Orcus raids. Progress through higher difficulties for more Crimson Gear, and my hope for that is that allows people to get in and finish Dark Dimension 7. Nimrod initial release will be on Thursday, and then a big shout out to Updog and Brotherhood of the Storm for the Stormwatch, which just outlines the important parts of the blog post as far as events, battle, and arena. So this is the weekend Arena Warriors event. I believe that this is the one that gives Captain Britain awakened abilities. I know everybody's thrilled about that. And that starts, be sure to use Silver Surfer too. There's like a requirement to use Silver Surfer as one of the things in the ones. They've been doing this for weeks now. Battle and Blitz and spend campaign energy. So maybe you want to save campaign energy for the 9th for the Sentinel Assemble event. Thanos Annihilator orbs also on the 9th, and this is for the Sentinel Strike Web milestone. I know you love these orbs. I know you're going to love these orbs. We got to post about these, how awesome these orbs are for sure. Battle and raids and earn ally supply orbs also on the 9th. And so this is for the allied support supply orbs. I think they're the number 6 for Dark Future Alliance event starting on the 9th. So we're going to fight to do our raids. Now, I want to read this. This is from the Player Voice Council. And I just want to echo what they say here. I feel like, like even with some of my posts, that, the actual nature of the situation wasn't explained. And I do like the way that this reads. So this is from the Player Voice Movement. When the Player Voice Movement was formed, it was non-negotiable that all spending groups had to be represented. We know that detractors like to refer to the group as a council of Krakens. And at the same time, there are a number of self-proclaimed Krakens who think it is entirely too free-to-play focused. I've had this sentiment before in the past, and I know that I had to get together with Sevi and Beta and Evdog. Now I believe Sevi's the only one of the remaining 3 that's still there just about this. And I was satisfied that it was not a council of Krakens based on my conversations with them. And I believe that now it's even moved more into a basket representing the whole community since that time when I was pressing them for that information. We have always stood for what is good for the community as a whole and the longevity of the game. I believe that's true. Yesterday's blog and recent events have demonstrated an intent to do what we consider to be great harm to the community and the longevity of the game. And I am in that camp as well. We fully understand Scopely is a business. We fully understand the desire to protect spenders, purchasers, and advantage. We fully understand that the commitment we fought for to get engaged players at 7 Yellow Star within 6 months of release is not being disrupted. And I believe that the intent of all these changes from them is to give the people that choose to spend on character offers more value by giving them some sort of exclusivity, and to push the Battle Pass players, the people that are spending $80 a month, into character offer spenders. That's a weird sentence. And this is going to be at the expense of the overall community, and specifically the free-to-play and the Battle Pass spender community, right? However, the business goals of Scopely and the ability as a free-to-play player to participate in game and acquire characters do not have to be at odds. It does not require the use of weapon or only giving free-to-play incredibly small odds to strike it rich. And we're going to talk specifically about $80 a month in Battle Pass, $1,000 a year should be more than enough to make this a successful game, and it's just greed at this point. Spenders can have an advantage while still allowing free-to-play players the ability to access a new character in a timely fashion. There are more moderate options available. Scopely is very proud of their new orb, giving players an instant unlock at far-fetched odds. I think it's trash. Like it or not, it does provide the opportunity for some small percentage of the community to unlock characters for free and faster than before. Yeah, so the chances of unlocking a character free to play in the first week was nothing. Now they've increased the odds to point nothing. That's all. The community is having some player unlock the new characters faster than before, but the number of players not unlocking a character long past the release date is unacceptable and is ultimately detrimental, particularly with non-committal language subject to change around what happens between release and 6 months. Experimentation is not in any of itself, but it would seem that the scientists supreme at Scopely have gone too far. We're seeing players at all levels leave the game over the last several weeks with the announcement yesterday. This will only continue. Player voice movement does not support the philosophical shift presented yesterday and be working to counteract the damage done by the community's trust and interest in the game. We encourage all players to make their voices heard on socials, in Discord, via support tickets. If you feel like updating your app and store ratings, adjusting your spending, or taking time off, we completely understand and reflecting on things ourselves. Believe in MSF or not, or player voice movement or not, we will continue to fight for a better way forward. Commitment is not subject to change. And I'm going to echo this right here. I am not saying to do this or that. If you feel motivated to go and change the rating in the store to a 5, go do that. If you feel they deserve a 5, do that. If you feel they deserve a 4, do that. Whatever you think is the correct number, go there and do that on the respective stores. Do what you feel is best, whether that is support tickets, make comments on Reddit and social media. I prefer reading the ones from Reddit, but there's other places that I don't go, like Facebook. I feel like it matters, and I do feel like they've listened. I know that the envoys in somewhat uniform front 2 days ago in a call were not thrilled about this. There was nobody on that call that was like, oh, this is great. No, it was bad. It was absolutely bad. So there's a couple of posts I want to read here. Scopely, did you not enjoy the goodwill and increased revenues over the last 18 months? I don't get it. I left the game a couple years ago for what I thought was the final time and came back because everyone convinced me MSF was good. I came back and it was good. And I have been saying this, which I've never said before. People pop into my stream and say, hey, how's Marvel Strike Force? I'd say, it's doing great. It's one of the best times to come back. And I played a new player account and it was fun. And this player right here had a similar experience. CCs were returning regularly. Alliances were easy to fill up. New players were coming to the game. I'm guessing the bottom lines were up, and not just because everyone in the US is no longer working on the game, but because player playtime and numbers were up. You don't have to spend goodwill. You can just keep making a game that people are happy to spend and play. Not everything needs to be up and to the right forever. In fact, nothing can be. Marvel Strike Force makes good money. It's never going to make Monopoly Go money. Nothing you ever work on again will make Monopoly Go money. It's a once in a generation game. So Marvel Strike Force is successful. It's already a $1 billion game and will continue to go and become a $2 billion game. Now, Monopoly Go, got to $2 billion in like one of the shortest amount of times I've ever seen a mobile game, and it's wildly successful. That being said, Marvel Strike Force is a good, highly successful game, and it'll never be Monopoly Go. And I don't understand what they're trying to do. It's not going to be a Monopoly Go. Feels like the same cycle repeating itself. Things get good, and you torch that for some ill-advised greed play. Then you have to spend money advertising heavily and change things so they don't suck ass again and try to get players back. They come in, and then you torch it again. You don't have to. You can just keep making the game good. I'm a regular pass buyer. I am your target audience. I like the game. I'm happy to spend on my hobby. I think this is such an important sentence. It's a hobby, right? But that's not good enough. $1,000 a year, is it good enough? I mean, come on. This is greed, plain and simple. You've broken the compact with your players. There was an expectation developed in the last 6 years, and now you're reneging on that bargain. The one that had players stick to it, the game for 6 years. What you're saying is that what you used to do isn't good enough anymore. Do more, spend more. Nah, brah. Go fuck yourself. Was the game losing money? Is it losing money? No. Is this a reason for the owner's change? No. The game is still successful. The game is thriving. My numbers are up. People are coming to the game. I hope your bet that you'll find more people who spend $250 a month than those who drop out pays off for the devs whom you employed, because you're torching your goodwill for it. Go to hell. This is the same type of message. $80 a month isn't good enough. I'm really a loss of words about this new release method. If I don't spend some, I screw my alliance. I'm not holding out for a lucky orb pull since I have never received one in over 4 years. I've been upset with the releases since Captain Britain. And if they don't change this nonsense, then after I finish DD7 the next week, I think it's time to ride off to the sunset on a high note. Fuck these greedy assholes. It's a mobile game that is broken and glitching more times than not. Spending $80 a month isn't enough for you? Again, fuck all the way off with your one shard orbs. Yeah, and this is kind of a sentiment that I'm seeing, is that these new changes have stopped from spending, and that was kind of the point of the first one. Is this going to be a net negative for them, where they basically, there's people saying that, why do I even buy the battle passes if I can't get the characters, right? Basically came in a couple $100 on iTunes money, and mostly free-to-play player I was going to use to buy out gear and get APOC and sus to DD7. After reading the new changes and character unlocks, I closed Marvel Strike Force and went straight to other games like Marvel Snap and Godzilla Battle Line. Now, I played Marvel Snap, and they had a $10 battle pass, or whatever it was called there, some sort of pass, right? We've got $80 with the battle passes. I just felt like that was a very reasonable game to play, and I'm sure they're wildly successful. I just don't understand why it needs to be $80 and not enough, and you got to buy character shards if you want to continue to be competitive. New character release and blog analyzed, and this is from Steven Rasselin, and I want to read this before I read this one right here, because I feel like Rasselin's post gives a lot of context to what the post actually said. The blog is kind of vague and left Boundless a lot of wiggle room. My interpretation and opinion of what they said is below. The delay. Phase 1. These RNG shards are mainly for optics. It's so players can feel like they are engaged and making some progress on new character. And Boundless can say players are be given an opportunity to unlock the new character. If we look at the Sentinel orbs, there's a 1 in 250 chance of getting 100 shards. And then it's like a 98% chance or something ridiculous that you're going to get 1 shard. And then there's like a 1.6% chance that you'll get 10 shards. It's garbage. Reality is most players will not unlock a new character during the time period. This is to give spenders about 30 days of exclusivity. The unlock, this is phase 2. In my opinion, this will be a real unlock period for the new characters. Will probably include a fixed number of shards. This is the way that most players will actually unlock the new character. Now, they're only saying that, they're only guaranteeing that one character will have that. That's the way I read it. So like if we look at the new Orcus team, there's going to be 3 new members and only one of them will have that. Which one is it? Which one do I need to core? If I get a 4-man team, will that be effective in the raid? Do I need a 5-man team? How is this going to work? And I do want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but all of this sounds really bad to me. Hopefully they walk back this. I hope they don't go down this direction that they've done with Old Man Logan, Captain Britain, and then now with Annihilators. And then they're kind of suggesting that it's going to be the same going forward as what we've experienced with Annihilators. Post phase 2, it'll mostly be like it has been, with the exception of new characters going into bumps 2 to 3 months after the initial release instead of 1 to 1.5. And I think this post phase 2 is where the battle passes will come in, month-long events, things like that. Summary. Long blog to basically say players will unlock most new characters after 30 days following their initial release instead of the 10 to 17 days like we were previously used to. And the writer of this post tracks that in spreadsheets. And this was the way that it was before, and they're bumping that to 30 days. If I had to guess, I would think the unlock would be less than 37 days. But again, the blog was intentionally vague on some points. Other notes. My advice is to pretend phase 1 doesn't exist. You'll be less likely to fall into their FOMO and frustration traps. There'll be a rough adjustment period, especially for players who play competitively. Players are going to have a much more difficult, impossible time being competitive against other players who spend more than them. The further we get into the new stat systems, the worse it gets. For free to play, I would probably prioritize cores for characters required for epics or characters like Black Knight. Probably not being using cores to unlock other teams faster. Yeah, it takes a ton of cores to unlock a character. And then this kind of sums up. I started off as a comment on a thread about recent character availability blog posts and sort of spiraled out of control. So I made a post of its own instead. It's mostly a speculative post about how Scopely, I like that, Scopely has been working to make things harder on free to players. So read on if that is interesting or relevant to you. As far as I can tell, we're reverting more towards characters with a big focus on stat stunt was because they were preparing to squeeze free-to-players down to slowly unlocking characters over a course of months so the spenders can have them at 7 stars and to be unbeatable by characters with 3 stars indefinitely as long as they keep their rosters updated. The info in the latest blog is just a culmination of that plan. Since stats are now the more important part of a character, 3-star unlock essentially means you don't actually have a useful character on unlock. Us dirty free-to-players can go suck an egg. Characters you don't buy and are forced to unlock through this slow to the character release process will be on their way out of the new stats meta by the time months pass and the free-to-players get them to competitive star levels. Yeah, I mean, I feel like what they're trying to do is... I know I got a suspicion that I'm not the only player that is like me. And I'll just say what I'm trying to say right here is that during COVID, I was spending between $400 and $500 a month, and I was doing offer reviews. I pretty much stopped doing offer reviews because the real value is the battle passes. And like a lot of people, I just stopped buying random offers and trying to figure out the value because the battle pass was a better deal. And so I went from spending $400 to $500 a month to buying the battle passes and then buying the cheapest offer to unlock the character. And so my spending has been reduced on average to about $230 a month. And they don't like that. They want their $400 to $500 a month back. And I feel like they're trying to push the battle pass players into buying character offers, and this is at the expense of free-to-play players. They're the one that are being punished the most by this new incentivizing system and period of exclusivity. And the goal is to move the $80 spenders into a higher number. I don't know, man. It just feels bad. I'm not going to read all this post because I think the point is there. And I think this is the point. Amazing gladiator orb opening. This person opened 15 orbs, and what do they get? One shard. So this is my 4th video about the topic. I don't know what to do. I'm going to continue talking about this as long as the community is interested. I always will talk about what the community is interested in and what's on the pulse of the community. Let me know what you think in the comment section as always. Thanks for watching. Keep it gaming. Bye for now.